Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Chad. Welcome back. Week 3. You guys know the drill. Highs and lows. Let's get into it. So this week we studied pretty much just the stuff that's in chapter 18, which contains something that in America when I was studying was the hardest thing I've ever had to study. It was this thing called transitive pairs, and it's literally been jacking me up since I learned all these words, because I had no idea when to use skeru or tsukuru or kieru and kesu or anything like that, but I knew those words back in the day and I could never tell when to use them, so I'd always get those wrong on tests. But they never taught it to me, so I was like, well, what do you want me to do? And so now we learned it, and I said the day that we were learning it, I told the whole class in English, I'm going to apologize up front now because I'm going to suck and probably drag everybody down doing this, and I ended up doing pretty well. I didn't really have too many issues with it, which was shocking. I guess I had a better grasp of it than I thought. After that, we studied Te Shimao, so if you guys know, like, Shimaimashita or Chatta or Jatta or whatever. We studied that. I killed that, but I also knew that really well from before. We're learning the to clause, so whenever you want to say whenever, use, to, and that one was fine. And then we did Nagara, which was easy for me. It's when two things are happening congruently. And then we learned part of the ba form. We're going to study the ba form, I think, like in chapter 22 or chapter 23. But, this was the ba yokata desu form, which is just one little piece of it. And I did pretty well on that too. I found out this week, though, that we are having the teachers wouldn't tell me it's a test because they know I'm bad at tests. Like, it's a thing. So they're calling it a check. We have a check coming up next Wednesday, and it's going to be on everything from the last 3 chapters. So all the stuff we've learned in these videos, the last 3 weeks of me doing this, it's a test on all of that, and if I am not showing that I'm progressing, then there's a good chance I might have to restart, which I really don't want to do. So I'm going to be studying super hard this week and going to hopefully not fail, because if you guys know me, I'm not a test person. Like, the best I can hope for is a C-. So we'll see. Because when I'm in class, everything I turn in is usually like a 9 out of 10 most of the time. And it's usually because I forget the 10/10s on things, but that's... bite me. Whatever. You know what I was going to write. But for some reason, I just choke on tests, so let's hope. Fingers crossed. When it comes to kanji, I studied 70 this week. I didn't study 5 that I was supposed to study, and I think I'm at like 260 or 70 or 80 in the Heiseg book, so I'm still progressing in that. I didn't do 5 because I was having a kind of a hard day on one of the days, and I was like, I'm just going to study 10. And then for practice, this week had probably the best day of practice I've ever had. I went to my yakitori shop that's right down the street from me and spent 3 hours there, pretty much just ordering appetizers because I wanted to keep staying there and keep eating. Because in Japan, you can't just eat, order your food and then talk with your friends. They kind of want you in and out, so I was being a bit of a putz and ordering like appetizers. But I was having such good conversation practice. It felt, when you're learning a language, and I've talked to so many kids at our school about this, and so many people who aren't at our school, that are at our sister school at the YMCA, and they all kind of agree. They have days where they're killing it. They feel like they're fluent when they're talking and they're understanding everything. And there's days where they go, what the hell am I doing? And that day was one of those killing it days. I was destroying. And every time I go in there, I think I just have a confidence boost, because every time I've gone there, I felt really good about speaking Japanese. And so they have really only ever seen me speaking good Japanese. So they kind of assume that, and they're not like patronizing me and like trying to bridge a gap on a word I don't know with English. They explain that word in Japanese, which is what I want. I don't want, like, if I don't understand what you said or a word that you said, I don't want you to try to translate it for me. That literally does me less than any good. What you should do is, in Japanese, try to explain that to me. And that's what they do, and that's why I love going there. And I made so many good friends. We took pictures together. We were doing bar tricks. We're all line friends. And these are like salarymen, and we're sending stupid stickers to each other. Man, that was a good night for me. But I also had some really hard days this week where every morning for me it feels like, so at night I practice for like 2 hours of speaking, give or take. I go to restaurants when I have the money, which I don't often have, especially when I buy a whole bunch of appetizers at a restaurant. I go to Tower Records. I made a friend there named Yukiko, and she's super awesome. And every time I'm in there and she's in there, we just trade recommendations. So I give her like American or Western bands, and she gives me Japanese bands that are really good. And I found this super awesome band called Wanima that, if you guys haven't been on my playlist yet, I made a playlist called Chad's Infinite Japanese Playlist. It's on my channel. I'm not going to link it in the video because I don't care. And it's about every 2 or 3 days, because that's how often I go to the record store here. I update it with whatever her recommendation was, good or bad, in my opinion, just with what she listens to and what she says, Japanese people listen to. And the cool thing is she's a punk rocker, so like it's not just poppy garbage music all the time. Like Wanima is, in America we'd probably call it pop punk, but here it's mentai punk, and it's so good. It's so good. Me and her are gonna go to see them live in June, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm trying to skimp on my food to save up money for tickets, so let's hope. But yeah, and then I go to like Taito stations or Namako stations and try to make friends with people playing games next to me, and so I go to a Daiso. I saw my teacher at a Daiso once, and he told all the other teachers about this, so now I don't know if it's a joke with them or if they just find it like interesting or funny. Whenever I shop, even if I know what the item is or I know where the item is, at a 100 yen store or like at a Muji, I have to ask a stranger and not a staff member, because staff members, when you ask them, they just point it out and walk away. Like they'll take you to it, but they'll like leave. I want to have like a dialogue with someone, so what I have to do is pretend I don't know the name of it, and I have to like in Japanese explain it. And the reason I'm doing this is because the last one I did where I had like a 10-minute conversation with someone was I had to figure out like what a sponge was, and obviously I know what the word sponge is. But I was like, I don't know what it's called in Japanese. My Japanese is really bad. It's this cleaning thing. You use it to wash dishes with. I don't know what the word is, but you do this. And the lady used the word scrub, and I was like, yeah, that's it. You do this with it. And she goes, is it dish soap? And I'm like, oh no, I know dish soap. You put dish soap on it. And she goes, towel or sponge? And I was like, sponge, that's it. Do you know where that is? And she took me there, and she goes, which one do you need? And I was like, okay, right there, you bit the fishing hook, because you started a conversation. And so we started talking. I'm like, well, what do you recommend? This is my first time living on my own, and it's not, but try to learn the language. And we had probably a 10-minute conversation, and it ended with her going, you were like, because I kind of started the conversation off with like, I'm not very good at Japanese, can you help? Because that's how I got her to help me. And she goes, I don't know why you think you're not good at Japanese. A lot of people, when they talk to me, use Jozu, but I've heard them use that with people who suck at English. Jozu means skilled, so I don't know if it's honest or not, or if they're being patronizing or just trying to be cheerful. I don't know what it is, but either way, I was happy. And so when I shop, I do that. Like every day, I'm at school for 4 hours. It's more than 4 hours, but 4 hours in class. I self-study at the self-study room at Genki Jack's for usually 2 hours after school. Running kanjis and grammar, and then I spend 2 hours out and about just trying to learn the language. And if for whatever reason I can't, like I'm really low on money, or it's like raining stupid hard and I don't really want to go outside, then I spend those 2 hours with listening comprehension on Japanese Netflix without subtitles. It's not as good, but it's, sometimes it's as close as you can get. The rough thing, honestly, is finding like a legit language partner. Because I have a whole bunch of Japanese friends and a bunch of Japanese people that I can talk with and learn from, but so many of them, what they do is they know English learners because maybe they're trying to learn English themselves. So they talk slowly, and if you don't understand a word, they will like try to bridge that gap in English, and I do not want them to do that at all. What I want is if I'm drowning, to try to use Japanese to help me, and if not, then just leave it. Because what we can always do is we can always come back to that topic later when I have learned more. Just move on. It's frustrating, I get it, but I don't want you to go to English. I want you to stay in Japanese with me. There was an exception. Yesterday I went to a pizza party, which I was told it's it's a language exchange type thing. You know, everyone just kind of mixes and it's fun. And I was like, I miss pizza. It's been a while since I had a really good pizza, so I was like, all right, Domino's is there. Domino's in America is what I would consider pizza, so I was like, sweet, we'll just, I mean, it's worth 15 bucks, and you have to buy your own drinks. But the whole time, like right when I walked in there, I knew there was going to be trouble because it was like 20 other foreigners. And with those 20 other foreigners, only like 4 Japanese people that weren't entertainment or staff were there. Anyways, at that party, literally there's like 4 actual Japanese people that weren't like there to do like a party. There's 3 Japanese guys that were there because one of them was, it's not like a magician, he's like a fortune telling guy. And he said that I was going to be an adventurer one day. So, author and adventurer right here. I don't know if that means I'm going to be homeless or not, because I don't think adventurers get paid, but I don't know, maybe I'm going to be a migrant or like a Syrian refugee someday. Genki has every Friday, they have a party. I don't think I'll ever go back to a Friday party there. It's just not worth it to me personally, but I mean, the foreigners were fun, but I'm here. I'm not paying all this money to be in Japan and speak English. That's not why I'm here. I did, however, they had a whole bunch of leftover pizza, and the teachers were trying to give it away, and nobody would take it, so I was like, give me pizza. And that's where, like, my favorite picture from Japan came from. And I got, like, 3 boxes of pizza, so, you know, when you're poor, pizza's pizza. And I'm, like, especially poor this week because I was walking to school one day, and I saw these people out front with boxes for Kumamoto, and I was like, I'm definitely giving money. And I opened up my wallet and wasn't really thinking. I thought I only had 1,000 yen in there. And right when I let go of my hand, I looked, it was a 5,000 yen, which is like 50 bucks. And I was like, I'm fine with it going to the cause, but frick, that was like my week's worth of food. So for me, it was like, well, what am I gonna do? But, you know, the Lord shall provide. And he provided thou with pizza. Yeah, that's about my week. I mean, I had really high highs. Like the highest one I've had ever was this week, but I've had some pretty self-beaty uppy low lows, and I'm trying not to do that because I don't think that this is sustainable to like beat myself up week after week for a year. I don't think that's probably a good idea. Actually, I know it's not a good idea, but that's just how I am. So I'm gonna try to wean myself away from beating the hell out of myself. Hopefully. I'm hoping next week's better. I have that big test, so let me, you know, send some encouragement my way if you guys have a sec, because that's gonna be a hard day. Also, next Wednesday you guys are gonna get part 2 of your house tour. So many of you guys watched that compared to like my other couple most recent videos, so I will be sure to do more stuff like that. If there's stuff that you guys want to see, be sure to tell me down below. Tell me what you want to see. I will film it when I get a chance. I promise you. It may not be next week. It may not be the week after, but I will film it. And I will put my own chatty, sensual touch on. Sensual. Yeah, that's about it, guys. If you liked the video, be sure to like it down below. This actually helps me. It's not just a number. It helps my video rank and helps more people find it. If you guys like this video, check out my other videos. If it's consistent stuff that you want, where every Wednesday I make a video about Japan, about Japanese life, blah, blah, blah. I also do a video on Saturday, like this video in particular, where I talk about my week as a Japanese language student in Japan, studying for a year. And if any of that interests you, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'm not telling you have to. I'm not. Okay? Okay. Oh, right. So next Friday, we are going to Itoshima, which is this dope, like, village-looking place. It's, like, in between an ocean and a mountain. It's just this little tiny village. And then after that, I'm going on a 2-day trip to Ika Island, which is in between Japan and Korea. And so you guys will get a video of that as well. So keep your eyes open. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I love you so much. So much. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday.